All right. Here we are. Good morning, sir. How are you doing? You doing all right?
I think I've recovered from yesterday, but it was a day. It was quite a day, I would say.
Yeah. We were taken a little aback by some of the moves, especially
What
like
surprised you?
Tanner Connor. I thought they would try to maybe sneak him onto the practice squad, but one thing I can tell that one of the things I just talked about this before you came on. I can tell you that McDaniel and Greer are doing an exceptional job of communicating with each other. One, McDaniel came in right away and said, I want to upgrade. I need speed. Okay, great. Hey, by the way, I can trade for Tyreek Hill. All right, bring him aboard. Let's go get Cedric Wilson. That's a pretty quick, big, slot guy. Let's go out and add Mostert and Chase. Speed out of the backfield. All right, Gesicki. Well, we're gonna try to see if we can get him adjusted. But if I can find some speed on tight end, well, somehow this front office went and found a Tanner Connor, who's kind of a former track guy.
Yeah.
And when you watch him out there, dude, out in the open field, the dude's got a motor. So clearly there was a theme by Mike McDaniel, and the front office has filled that theme that he wanted. So he wanted certain players, and they went out and got it. And I think they have the synergy that they didn't have in the past, whereas the last coach thought he was also the personnel director, so he was butting heads constantly. And that's not really what Marvin Allen, Reggie McKenzie, and Chris Greer need. You know what I'm saying? So you have three exceptional personnel guys. In fact, you have one of the guys that probably was doing a better job with the Raiders than the guys you just cleared out there in the Raiders. But anyway, whatever. That's another.
I mean,
another
a lot better job, but yes.
That's another. But you can tell, right, that there's clearly synergy right now between what the coach wants to do and the front office is clearly finding what he wants in his vision.
Yeah, I mean, you can see it pretty clear, and I think with the really good teams and the really good personnel staffs, that's what they do. Is the coach says, these are the traits that I want. This is what I identify. This is what I want to fill my team with. This is how I want to be constructed. And the personnel staff goes, okay, well, let's go find the players that the coach wants. And if there's a player that we don't agree on, then probably not going to be brought on. And what traits are most important? So, no one's perfect. So if you have a guy who's a little bit faster, maybe not as big, okay, we like fast guys. Whatever is most important, go find that. And I think, the Dolphins cut Sony Michel, which honestly I was a little did not see that coming.
I thought he made it. I thought he was going to make it too, but I was there at camp a lot. And these guys outplayed him. Gaskin and Ahmed, they outplayed him. And he was injured half of camp, which has been also a thing with Sony Michel's career too. Plus,
excuse me.
Plus.
Sorry about that. Wow. Live internet. Yeah, I mean, I also think that when you have Sony Michel, who's a good productive running back, but he's compared to all the really fast guys, in the end, kind of like you said, you choose the fast guys, which is okay. I mean, I think, if all goes well in the physical, I think he lands with the Chargers where he's on his way to visit today, and that's going to work out fine. But that sort of goes to show they're looking for something very specific, and they are willing to compromise on some things, but they really want fast guys.
All right, Ian, Mr. Insider, they've got 8 linemen. Are you hearing the Dolphins going after a lineman out there? Byron Jones, they didn't flinch throughout training camp, and now he's on the PUP list. So is there a corner out there, a returner? Because Tyreek Hill and Waddle, I think, are guys that you use in situational moments, not really full-time. I don't believe they have a returner in the Lynn Bowden release. That one, I thought he might have made the team simply because he was a returner at that moment. So what are you hearing with the Dolphins and rumblings? Are they making any kind of moves?
Yeah, I mean, I would not be surprised to see them claim a lineman. And claims are coming up. It's 11:11 now. Claims are coming up in about 49 minutes. So we should know soon. I would, wouldn't be surprised if they try to claim a lineman. Wouldn't be surprised about a corner. Returner. It's such a specialty, and you really just need someone who can catch. So, like, that could be like a standard elevation on the practice squad thing. Or honestly, like, you could just tell, Tyreek, like, go back there and catch the football. And that's it. Like, returner is such a niche specialty that, like, you don't need to have a whole roster spot on that, I don't think. But yeah, I would
it's
think.
funny. It's funny that you mentioned that. I'm old.
Yeah.
So this is like a moment that when you said that, there was one year where Shula was having trouble getting a really good returner. So he had this kid named Scott Miller. Okay. I doubt you know who the hell I'm talking about, because this is 40 years ago, probably, or something like that. And so people were complaining that Scott Miller wasn't really explosive or anything, but Shula goes, he catches the ball and he maintains our possession. So at the moment, I got to use the guy that I know I can count on to catch the ball. And it's funny that you mentioned that, because the second you said that, the Scott Miller situation came right into my brain 40 years ago at the Dolphins.
Just stand there and catch the ball, man. It's nothing more important, especially when it comes to a returner.
40 years later, it hasn't changed.
Hasn't changed.
That is just the opposite. By the way, the Leatherwood release now, and we just talked a little bit about it, and we touched on it a little bit. Wow. I mean, you start to look at the disaster that the Raiders have been with Ruggs and Arnett and Clennon Farrell and all these. It is, wow. I mean, and not only that, the historic part about it was you rocked the price of coaching too by giving Gruden that contract. Then you set standards that, then Carolina had to follow up with Matt Rule, and others are going to have to follow up now. And that's also been kind of disturbing. So not only did it not work out, it also ended up rocking the pay scale for coaches, which I'm sure owners weren't happy with.
Yeah, I don't think they actually changed the pay scale, because it's not like, even though it was $100 million, it was $10 million per year. I don't believe all of it was fully guaranteed. It was also backloaded. So, like, I don't believe it rocked the pay scale of coaches, because I don't think he made $10 million until maybe his last year. It was not always cracked up to be. I will say that. I would also say it was a disaster. Like, so many resources waste. I mean, the Damon Arnett, and I don't just mean the stuff about him being in trouble with the law. Like, yes, that's not good, but also was bad at football, injured a lot and bad at football. Like nobody would have taken him in the first round. Nobody would have taken Leatherwood in the first round. I mean, it was just crazy.
By the way, they keep asking me about Leatherwood. I keep saying I don't believe he's athletic enough for this system. Do you agree with me on that?
I don't think he's going to end up in Miami. I mean, unless they claim him, which they could. I'd be surprised if he gets claimed, but I guess anything's possible.
Right. But I don't think he fits this system, actually. That's just me.
I mean, you need to be fast and being really able to move. And so, like, that makes some sense. As a guard, though, maybe. But, like, that's going to be interesting is, like, what position does he play? Does he play tackle? Does he play guard? Some teams view him as tackle, some as a guard. Hasn't looked good at either, honestly, but there is some talent there. Some talent. So,
and you're right. He'll clear waivers because nobody's going to pick up that salary.
Correct.
Right.
I think that's probably right.
Yeah. That one's going to be pretty bad. Now you start looking at the Garoppolo situation. I know that nobody was going to have that kind of money, but couldn't somebody have also readjusted that contract once he got there so he can go for an opportunity? And why stay there? And see, the problem I have with this whole situation is that story that came out that when he signed his deal and he disappeared for 2 months and people were calling him.
That's
I know, but that makes it sound like football is not important. And I wonder how many football people, you're around these people like I am, dude, they take this shit serious. They want you to live, eat, and breathe football. If you don't, they feel you're not for them. I remember Myron Rolle. They were so worried he was so smart and that he would go off to Oxford and go, solve cancer, that they were like, nah, dude, we're not drafting this guy because he's not about us. He's about bigger things than us. The Florida State kid, for those of you that didn't know.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things. I wonder if the lack of love for football besides the salary and everything else, was also a hurdle for teams around the NFL. Your thoughts?
I don't think so. And I think that sort of way of thinking, like that football guy needs to be like,
Yeah.
in March, he needs to be like grinding tape. Like, I think that's sort of antiquated. I'm a big work-life balance guy. So like you can be a really successful quarterback and still go be Aaron Rodgers and go out and do mushrooms or whatever he's doing in June, which I don't condone, but he seems to do it. Do that in June and come out and be the best quarterback in the NFL in November. Like, Jimmy Garoppolo unplugs. Like, mentally, I'm cool with it. Like, I like people that, like, everybody should do that, honestly. Like,
Yeah.
unplug, have some good work-life balance, be a normal human as much as possible, and when it's time to play football, play football. I think the contract was more of an issue. Also, like, I don't know where he's going. I mean, obviously, now he's not going anywhere, but I never could find a spot. I never got the sense Seattle was interested. People were always talking like, oh, the 49ers are nervous that he's going to go to Seattle. Like, first of all, no, they weren't. Second of all, Seattle wasn't interested. He had no option to go be a starting quarterback. So if you're not going to do that, stay where you are, sit there on the bench in San Francisco and, like, what happens. Like, if Trey Lance struggles a little bit, we'll see which way it goes. It could get interesting. We'll say that.
Hey, Tom Brady waited till he was like 45 to start to unplug like he did for 11 days, my brother. Before that, he was, all about football and all that. So all of a sudden, he waited till he was 45 to be more about whatever, he was doing away from football. You know what I'm saying?
It's all personal. Everyone's got different situations they're dealing with. So we all have really unique challenges to our life. And, I'm 45 years old, man. There's a lot of shit going on. So, you just got to try to figure out life the best you can. And, it's a continuous process. So,
you know what I loved about that comment? He disarmed all of us with that because we just got to go back to our own worlds, and I can say I'm 55, he's 45, you're whatever age. We got a lot of shit going on all the time.
I get it. I mean, it's like when, somebody will call and, like, not news, but sort of chit chat and whatever. And, like, kids will be there and they'll be pulling and they'll be screaming or something. And I'm like, got a lot going on here. Like,
yes. Yeah.
I get it. But, like, again, that's a great example. Like, he is a human being. I know he's Tom Brady, but I'm sure his wife still gets angry at him. I'm sure his kids still pull at him. This is what life is like, man. And it's okay that Brady let us in a little bit. I think it's a cool thing.
Yeah, no, you're right. But it's funny how everybody wants to get closure on something that we don't know was going to happen or not going to happen, or what team he was going to go for, or what play or owner or whatever. And people just want to, they want to find out also what happened in those 11 days. And it's like you're not allowed to disconnect. And that's kind of the weird part about all of this, and especially during this time of the year. I guess that's where it really becomes kind of
weird. And that's okay. But then he came back and was awesome again. So it's like, you know what? Still Tom Brady. Still got it.
That's the thing. People don't want to hear that, but he is freaking Tom Brady, and he's done it for so long, and he's been so good that some people earn the benefit of the doubt on certain things. And that's, if you're going to say one guy can earn the benefit of the doubt, it's that guy, dude. And he's played with the same people for 2 years now. It's not like he really needs a whole bunch of timing or anything like that. All right. So what are you expecting with the Dolphins, bro? Come on, give us something, man. What do you expect?
The acclaim,
Chris Greer is Mr. Trade. Nobody makes more trades in the NFL the last 3 years than Chris Greer. I'm expecting him to do something today.
I mean, trades, I think we're sort of past that.
Okay.
I would say maybe a waiver claim, maybe an offensive line, maybe a corner. There's some guys available. So yeah, I would think there'll be a little bit of action. I would check out the waiver wire in about 45 minutes. Maybe we'll get something.
We will follow it on Twitter at Rapsheet. And of course, you can catch him here with the redrecover.com look around the NFL. Ian, as always, appreciate you, my brother. We will catch up next week, my friend. Thank you.
All right. Look forward to it, man. Take care.
You got it. There you go. Ian Rapoport, redrecover.com. Look around the NFL.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.